Which, bro, you shouldn't be doing anything anyways because she's underage and she can't give consent because she's fucking 15 years old, you piece of shit. Saying, bitch, where the fuck are you? Definitely see myself in this position, in this situation, so I really felt for her. Girl, no. I'm here for you. Like, oh, red flag, red, absolutely red fucking flag. Gun to her face. Hello, people. How y'all doing? Today, we will be doing another Almost Fatal Attraction teen edition today because this girl, my girl today, we're gonna be calling her Camila. Camila, my girl, is 15 years fucking old. So this story really kind of hurt my soul a little bit because, like, every time I would read another part of the story, I would be like, but hold up, this girl is 15 years old and I have like an 11-year-old daughter. So I'm like, I really hope that none of this shit is what is to come for me and my daughter. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. Nope, not yet. For those of you who have never watched my videos before, welcome to my channel. I am Tashketchum, or Tasha Sears, that's my real name. Yep, I have a big interest in like true crime and conspiracy theories, but I figured like those things were kind of done to death. Like every conspiracy channel or every like unsolved mystery is kind of like giving out the same stories told in their ways, which sometimes is great. Like I even recently subscribed to someone who does that, and even though I've heard all the stories before, the way that person tells the stories really like keeps me going, and I actually end up like retaining more details than I did the first time around. So, but I don't really want to compete with those channels because, like I said, there are a million of them. So instead, we will be concentrating on stories that are closer to me. So if you guys don't already know this, I was living on my own around 15, 16. I was like a runaway teen, so I do have a lot of stories of my own that I will include, but I will be narrating them like anyone else's stories, just to keep like some people anonymous even though they don't deserve it. And the rest are submitted like by my friends who were also runaway teens, and some of them are from people that I don't know also, because I did post about it on my Facebook and Instagram asking for some stories, and a few people came forward with some crazy ass stories that we will be discussing in the future. So now let's get into it. Today's story is the story of Camila and Dan. Camila, like I said, is a 15-year-old girl, and Dan is a freaking predatory 20, how old was he? 20, oh god, I have to check. Sorry. So 24-year-old at the time. So obviously, like, even when I was 15, like, I did go out with like a 19-year-old guy, and it's like, okay, it's cool, you know, they have jobs, cars, this and that, but after a while it's like, okay, maybe find someone your own age. But also, like, once you start going into the 20s, like, girl. So yeah, so Camila was 23, 24. Anyways, so now Camila is like a shy girl, so she goes online to start chatting with boys, because obviously that is the time where we start getting, you know. So Camila goes online and finds this cute ass, green-eyed, dread-wearing, tall-ass motherfucker, you know, Like, so yeah, so they decide to meet up after like a few weeks of talking. Everything seemed like it was going good, but then things take a weird turn when it comes like the time to meet in person. Um, what did we call the guy? Dan? Dan tells her, look, you're coming over tomorrow, and I need you to be at my house at 10 a.m. sharp. So she's like, oh, okay, but like you live across town. It's a Saturday. I really wasn't gonna, be waking up all that early to be at your house like around 10 a.m. And he's like, girl, did I say 10 a like did I say around 10 a.m.? No, girl, I said 10 a.m. sharp. So she's like, oh, okay, well, what happens if I'm late? And he's like, girl, you're gonna be standing outside with your dick in your hand because I'm not gonna open the door. So she's like, okay, well, I guess I really want to meet this guy, so I guess, I'll do my best, set some alarms, and, try to work things out here. So she gets up super bright and early to go meet this asshat, and this is like 10 or 15 years ago, so it's not like really in the time where like every teenager kind of had a cell phone, and every whatever. So she didn't have a cell phone, so she writes down like the directions on a freaking piece of paper at this time so she doesn't be late, and she leaves to get there early rather than late. So she gets there at 9:45 and rings the doorbell, and nobody answers. So she waits, and then she rings again. No answer. Now it's about, let's say, 9:50. 9:55, she rings again. No one. So she goes down the steps, starts to leave, and then she hears the door open. So she's like, okay, turns around, sees Cutie in the door, but he looks pissed. So she's like, hi, it's me, Camilla. And he's like, yeah, I was expecting you at 10 a.m. And she's like, well, it's like almost 10 a.m., like, I'm on time. He's like, girl, did I not tell you 10 a.m. sharp? That means not 1 minute before, not 1 minute after. So already we're seeing like some red flags pop up here, but Camilla is like, oh, okay, I mean, I guess that's, okay. So she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm sorry, which is like a red flag number two, that she has to apologize for literally being early rather than late, like, and only 15 minutes early. Like, bro, you already need to chill yourself here. Anyways, so she apologizes, and he says, okay, it's fine, whatever, come upstairs. So at first everything's going like okay, I guess. They start watching a movie, and I believe the story says that she was watching like a horror movie, and then oh god, okay, so and then he said something weird where someone was kind of getting gutted in the movie, and we were seeing like intestines and stuff like that. And then he told her, I bet you wouldn't, he's like, no, he said, wouldn't this make your stomach turn if it was real? And she said, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm so used to seeing gore in movies that I don't know how I would react, if I had to see the real thing. So he's like, I can guarantee you that you would puke. It's disgusting. So she's like, well, what do you mean? Like, have you seen that shit before? And he was like, you can see a lot of shit on the internet. What? So, sorry about that. So, she's like, okay, that's weird, but I guess it's okay. red flag number, how much is that now? Anyways, um yeah, so the evening goes on, the evening, or whatever time it was by then. And so the day goes on, and they don't hook up or anything. She makes sure to tell him, like, I'm 15, so although, like, she describes that she wasn't a virgin, she didn't have, like, that much experience with guys to begin with, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but she's, like, a shy, reserved type of girl. So he says, yeah, it's no problem. Like, don't worry. Anything that we do is gonna be at your pace. Which, bro, you shouldn't be doing anything anyways, because she's underage and she can't give consent because she's fucking 15 years old, you piece of shit. Anyways, so then she's like, oh wow, he's like so considerate and he is like so nice and shit. Like, oh my god. So she goes back home thinking that she met her Prince Charming, and she's finally going to, be happy. She's found her person. Everything is magical and great. How often have we thought that, ladies? Anyways, so next weekend comes along and nothing happens because they didn't make plans to see each other, even though, they were talking all week and whatever, but he never specifically asked her to come back. So Saturday comes around and she gets a phone call at 10:01 a.m. saying, bitch, where the fuck are you? She's like, well, I'm still in bed sleeping. What's up? He's like, did I not tell your ass to be here at 10 a.m. sharp? She's like, no, that was last weekend. We really didn't make plans for this weekend. He's like, oh, so you're going to see another guy, right? And she's like, no, I'm just home, but we didn't make plans, so I didn't show up. And he's like, you should know that when I said to be here Saturday 10 a.m. sharp, I meant every Saturday 10 a.m. sharp. So she's like, oh shit, I didn't know. Can I come over now? And he's like, no, bitch, you missed your window. That's it. Be here next week at 10 a.m. sharp. So she's like, oh, okay, that's weird, but okay, I guess. Anyways, so then next weekend comes, and of course she doesn't want to be in trouble again, so she is there at 10 a.m. sharp. He's like, congratulations, you passed the first test, everything is good, you now have like a little bit more of my trust. Okay. Anyways, I feel like if I was the way I was when I was 15, I could definitely be in that situation, because until I realized that, like, it's okay to be rude to people who aren't really there for your good. Like, it's okay to be rude to strangers if you don't feel comfortable, and it's okay to be rude to men when they're trying to push your boundaries, kind of like. I didn't know that when I was younger, so, like, of course now I would never be in that situation, because as soon as that guy would be like 10 a.m., I'd be like, ha ha ha, I'll see you later, and he would be like, no girl, you're not coming, and I would be like, ha ha ha, I'm on my way later, and he would be like, well, the door's not closed, and I'd be like, okay, well, I guess this is the end of that. So, but at 15, I can definitely see myself in this position, in this situation, so I really felt for her. Anyways, back to the story. Like, I should really keep my 2 cents for the end, but like, some shit is like just screaming inside of me, girl, no, I'm here for you. But that was 10-15 years ago, so I am here for you in the future, if that makes sense. Anyways, so she shows up there. She has now apparently passed, the first test. Everything seems good. They have a good weekend together. Except that they don't, because towards the end of the evening, when she's, gonna be getting ready to go home in a few hours, he tells her, I need you to sleep over here today. So this is me literally not trying to look like a moron on camera, which results in me looking like a moron on camera. Anyways. So he tells her, I need you to sleep here today. And she's like, well, I'm 15, so, that's not really an option right here. And he's like, look, I know that when you live here, you probably go see other guys, blah, blah, blah. She's like, bruh, I'm barely allowed to be here right now. There is no one else. Like, it's you and straight home, and you don't even let me see my friends anymore, so there's nothing else, He's like, well, I'm gonna need you to prove it. Fine, how do you want me to prove it? She says to him. So you now need to kneel before me and kiss my feet. So she's like, like, you're so funny. And he's like, girl, do I look like I'm joking? Which, of course, he did not. So she's like conflicted, but she's like, I guess I don't want to lose this boyfriend. So she kneels before him and kisses his feet. But Mr. is not satisfied with this, so he then proceeds to tell her that she also needs to call him God as she's kissing his feet. So first of all, Lord, strike him down, please. Strike him wherever he is. Second of all, why? At this point, my girl should be like, ooh, it's almost curfew time. I think, can we do this next time when I'm mentally prepared, and then never fucking show up again? But no, my girl is young, naive. She thinks she's in love, because we always do when we're 15. And so, like I said, she proceeds to do the deed. Now then, my guy is now satisfied. He can now trust her, so he lets her go home. Next Saturday, she comes 10 a.m. sharp. She's at his door. She's learning quickly. So he opens the door and he tells her, hey, I'm happy to see you, blah, blah, blah. Come in, I have some stuff to talk about with you. The last time we talk about something is when you asked her to kiss your feet, so now I'm getting scared reading this, like, what the fuck more do you want to talk about, fuckface? But he had some more shit in store for her, because now, remember, he trusts her, so she's in the inner circle, So she gets in and he talks to her about what he does for a living, which is I guess drug dealing. So my guy tells her, I'm a drug dealer, this is that, so it comes with dangerous, stuff. So when you come here, I want you to always make sure that there's no one following you, which, like, what do you, like, stop. Just stop. Anyways. And then he says, and I have some shit to show you just in case something happens. I need you to know, like, this is where I keep the stash of money. So he opens a drawer. There's a bunch of Ziplocs filled to the top with money. And then he shows her another place. This is where I keep my stash. So, like, let's say if the police is trying to barge in or whatever, you definitely have to help me. You run towards the money, shove some, in your pants and your bra as much as you can. You're a minor, so nothing's really gonna happen to you. And the product, either flush it or throw some out the back window and whatever. So she's taking notes. All right, this is what I have to do. Why is this poor 15-year-old girl having to take notes on how, like, you know, for emergency drills on your fucking drug situation? Like, she shouldn't be in that position to begin with, and you shouldn't want her to be in that position to begin with. Like, no. So, but my guy is not all that bright because he's a fucking sexual predator, and yeah. So he's like, okay, now I completely trust you, but you need to know that the person that I am with you is not the person that I am with other people. I treat you nicely. When? Anyways, nicely, but I'm not this nice to other people. And she's like, oh, ha ha ha, like, I'm sure you're fine, you know, like, I'm sure you're just nice all around, which, bitch, when was he nice? But anyways, so yeah, so he's like, no, I can assure you I'm not nice with anyone. So she's like, oh, well, okay. And he's like, well, do you want me to show you? And she's like, I mean, sure. I mean, even if somebody had said that to me, I would be expecting like some kind of skit is gonna happen where you're pretending, you know, to talk to someone and you're being, you know, mean just to kind of show her, you know, how you talk to other people and this and that. However, this was not what happened to her. Instead of some kind of skit, my girl got a full on, like, immersive 4D type of situation. So he starts looking at her with a really, like, oh my god, with a really, like, scary kind of look. Like, she describes him as looking like soulless, basically. Like, she's like, it's like his soul just kind of left his body, and I was just left behind with the monster that lives inside of him, you know, the rest of the time. So he looks at her straight in the eyes and he says, bitch, who the fuck do you think you're fucking with? So she's like, oh, okay, ha ha ha, like, I get it, like, you know, it's all good, it's all good, like, I see what you meant now, so we're good. But his face doesn't change. He still has a scary ass demeanor on his face. And he said, bitch, I asked you a fucking question, who the fuck do you think you're fucking with right now? And so she doesn't know what to say or do at this point, so she's just saying nothing. Like, she's just there, silent, just, you know, okay, maybe I have to watch until the end, you know, whatever. But then, what came next was a fucking slap to her motherfucking face. Bro, did I tell you that this girl is 15 years old? Like, she shouldn't be in the situation to begin with. So I'm already fucking traumatized, but unfortunately, there was much worse to come for our poor Camilla. So Camilla starts to cry, obviously, like any girl would, 15 or otherwise. And so he slaps her again, and he's like, shut the fuck up. Who told you that you could cry? Blah, blah, blah. So she's like, okay, I don't want to see anymore. Like, if you don't stop, I'm leaving. So his face immediately changes and goes back to the nice and sweet Dan that she has come to know and love. So he's like, oh, babe, sorry. Like, I was so into character right there. Like, I'm sorry. Which is a motherfucking lie, because you weren't into character. You were just being yourself. Dan is the character. Like, the Dan that we know, the sweet Dan. Supposedly sweet Dan, because I don't see what the fuck is sweet about, like, fucking imposing rules and having her kiss his feet and whatever, whatever. But anyways, the sweet Dan that we know is now, you know, that's the character. That's the real fucking character. So anyways, she says nothing. She's fucking traumatized. And he's like, look, there's something else that I meant to talk to you about. And she's like, oh God, like, I don't think I can handle any more of these talks of ours for today. Like, let me go home. He's like, nah, man, I meant to tell you, but like, I told you that we weren't gonna be doing anything until you were ready, but like, I think you're ready now. So she's like, oh my god, this is taking a turn. Like, I'm not ready for this. So she's like, well, what do you mean I'm ready now? Like, I thought you said that, like, when I felt ready, that, we would start doing more stuff. And he was like, no, bitch, that's not what I said. I said when you're ready. I didn't say when you feel ready. He's like, how are you gonna know when you feel ready? You're just a young girl. I have to tell you when you're ready.
Bruh.
So, um, I'm just trying not to like cry right now. So basically, he tells her that she is now ready to have, sexual relations with him, and so he proceeds to just do it, I guess. I don't want to use the R word because I don't want to trigger anyone, but I don't have another word for it, so that's what it is. First of all, she's 15, she can't consent to shit. And second of all, she clearly said that she did not feel ready, and he proceeded to tell her that she was ready because he said so. So if we don't call that R, I don't know what is. So she, of course, like, she doesn't fight, and not because she doesn't fight back does not mean that it's not R. This girl, like I said, is 15. She thinks she's in love, and she thinks, she's putting all of her trust basically in this person who's literally abusing her. So she doesn't fight back, but she doesn't feel right about it either. So after that's finished, she's like, look, I really need to go home, like, I'm gonna be in trouble. So he's like, okay, fine, you can go home, but come back tomorrow. This was the first time that he asked her to come on a Sunday, but like, it was really not the time for that because obviously she just got art, and she's like, I don't really want to come back here. So she's like, oh, well, okay, but I don't know if my mom's gonna let me because I'm already, late coming home today. He's like, you better find a fucking way to get here. So she's like, oh, okay, sure. So sure enough, she gets home, and her mom is furious and grounds her. But of course, she still has to sneak out the next day to see, the guy. So she does sneak out, and she's there at 10 a.m. sharp, just as usual. And the guy's waiting for her, and he has a present for her. He gives her a card with money in it and tells her, hey, since now, we've taken another step in our relationship, I just wanted to, congratulate you. Congratulations, you've been R'd. Fucking psycho. I don't even know. Oh, God. So she's like, oh, wow, he must really love me. I guess I must have made, a big deal out of, that situation for nothing. In the end, he really does care about me. So he gives her an envelope full, like, it's a card. Kind of like a birthday card, but I don't know what the card said. She didn't really mention. And it's full, like, with money. I believe she said, like, about $400 or $500, which for a 15-year-old, it's like, bruh, party time. But, some kind of stuffed teddy bear and whatever. So it's like, congratulations, I just stole yet another part of your innocence, but here you go. And do not argue with me that she wasn't innocent because she wasn't already a virgin, because it doesn't matter. She was still young and naive, and he did absolutely steal, a big part of her innocence just by doing all of that. So she's like, okay, thank you, like, wow, I can't believe that you actually love me, this and that. So he's like, well, of course I love you, dumbass, like, what do you think? He's like, just because so he tells her, just because, you're not the prettiest girl out there, and just because, you're not really, like, conventionally beautiful doesn't mean that, I don't love you. Which, like, what kind of fucking backhanded compliment is that? Like, already, the abuse is strong in this one, let's just say. Bro, that shit would never, at this age, anyways, but when I was 15, absolutely. Like, I definitely feel the struggle, but nowadays, like, bruh. It's like, yeah, I get what you mean. It's not because you're 5'6" that, I can't love you, or not because your dick is just like 2 inches that I don't love you anyways. I don't say that kind of shit. Like, don't say, that kind of shit to me. Anyways, so they then watch movies and proceed to do the deed again without her consent, but this time she's like a little bit more used to it. To her, it's just normal. Like, there is no like need for consent. She's like, well, he's my boyfriend, so I guess it's just what I'm supposed to do. So she goes home, but she's starting to feel like some pain down there and in her throat. So she's like, I better go to the doctor. Maybe like he gave me some kind of STD. So of course she's 15. She's not like fully like aware of exactly how STDs work. So she's thinking, even though it's just the next day, she's thinking, shit, like maybe he gave me something. So she goes to a clinic, like emergency clinic, and she tells her, girl, I think I have an STD because, like, it just hurts here and there and this and that. And she's like, well, how big was, the anatomy that we're talking about? And she's like, oh, that shit was huge. It was, like, thick and big, and which would normally be a good thing, but because we're talking about a fucking sexual predator, it's a very bad thing. So now the doctor's like, oh girl, you're fine. It's just, go easy on the fellatio situation. And she's like, well, I don't have anything to do with that. He just kind of forces it down my throat. And she's like, oh, red flag, red, absolutely red fucking flag. But here, I live in Montreal, I think as of 14, your doctor's business is kind of your business, so the doctor can't really do much about that as long as she doesn't say, the R word, which she won't because she's in the, she thinks it's a normal relationship. So the doctor's like, girl, just try to talk to him and tell him, to go easy on that kind of stuff. And, I noticed some lines on, your jawline. It seems a bit swollen. Is everything okay, or is that also part of like, that thing? So she's like, oh, she's thinking back, and it must be from the slaps, because obviously she's 15, her face is, kind of small at this point, and that guy has like huge hands, and he slapped her like open hand on her face. So here she kind of had 2 red lines and it was swollen. So she says, oh, he must have just held me like this for a bit too long, but it didn't hurt or anything at the time, I'm fine. So the doctor says, okay, if there's anything else, come back. So she's like, okay, fine. So she calls him. Oh, she of course got checked out for the STDs too, even though the doctor did explain that, she would have to come back in a few months to make sure that he really didn't give her anything. So she calls him, tells him, oh, what's up, blah blah blah, and he is furious. He's like, I called you and you weren't home, what the fuck is going on? So she's like, oh, I was just at the doctor's because I was kind of in pain after our last visit, and I just wanted to make sure that I was okay. So he's like, did you tell her anything about us? Red flag. She's like, no, nothing in particular, and she didn't say anything in particular besides that, I had to come back and get tested again. So he's like, okay, fine, come to my house right now. She's like, well, I was gonna go to school in the afternoon, and he's like, you're already skipping school, so come to my house. So she goes there, and when he gets there, he still looks like he's really like pissed off at her, kind of. He really looks like he's in a bad mood. So she's like, oh, hey, what's up? And he's like, I had a bad fucking day with one of my custies. She fucking bit me, that fucking bitch, blah blah blah. So he's in a bad mood. So she's like, oh, like, what can I do to make the situation better? Because, or else, it could be me who has to kind of deal with all of this, and who the fuck wants that? No one. So she's like, well, is there anything that I can do for you, to kind of make your day better? And he's like, yeah, there is one thing. You can give me your ass. Which is like, bruh, even I. Anyways, let's not talk about my ass, because no one wants to hear about that. But, like, even me, who is, like, freaky deaky, I ain't giving no one my ass if their fucking dick is big enough to give me a throat ache after a blowjob. Then no, sir, you cannot. Like, what is that line? You shall not enter? Like, it is. No, just no, sir. And can I remind everyone that she is still 15 years old at that point, so she really shouldn't be. Oh god. Anyways, this is why I'm like, this makes me nervous, because my kid is like developing really fast, and all of her friends are like wearing fake nails and super short crop tops and really like, and booty shorts and stuff, and I'm just like, can you guys all just like kind of stay kids for a few more years? Like, I'm not ready for anyways, I don't want any of that. Anyways, so he tells her this, and she is immediately in panic mode. She is like, ha ha ha, no, because I've actually, like, never done that before, and that's really not something that I'm gonna be comfortable with. And of course, she remembers, the size of what she had to deal with, so she's like, no, and he's like, oh, then I guess you don't love me, you don't care if I feel better or not. And she's like, well, I care, but I also oops, this is great, but I also kind of care about not, like, dying. And he's just like, yeah, so clearly you don't even give a fuck about me. Get the fuck out of my house, you fucking bitch. Like, you don't fucking love me, you just lied to me, blah blah blah. Obviously she doesn't want to lose the relationship, so once again she fucking obliges, which breaks my fucking heart. And now, so she's on the bed, things are going down, and she feels something, like, hard under the pillow, and she's trying to, like, fix her head around it, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Stop squirming. And she's like, well, there's something, behind my head. And he's like, oh, yeah, let me fix that for you. He lifts up the pillow, and the next thing that she sees is a fucking gun to her face. So she obviously, like any fucking person would do, starts yelling, and he's like, shut the fuck up. So she's like, oh god, I'm in trouble now. This is like literally how I die. And it's like, shut the fuck up, like, you're gonna wake up my neighbors, blah blah blah. So she's like, okay, but, like, can you put that away, because now I'm really uncomfortable. And he's like, what? It's for protection, it's not for you, it's in case somebody tries to break into the house, because apparently this has happened before, and all he had was a baseball bat, and he needed more than that in the end. So she's like, okay, ha ha ha, but, like, really though, can we, like, put it away now? So he's like, look, I guess I should probably warn you, but if, that situation does happen again, where somebody, breaks into the house again, you should know where the gun is, and also you should know, in that closet there, the first thing you do is you grab, one of the black bulletproof vests. She's like, where is all of this going? Because now she is now ready for a police drug bust, and she is now ready for a break-in. which could end in a gunfight, girl, you are 15 years old. Go home and do your fucking homework at this point. Like, just go back to school, pretend like nothing happened, and just go do your homework. Like, this was all a dream. No, unfortunately, it is not a dream. So, yeah. So, anyways, so she's like, oh, okay, so yeah, now I know what to do with all of this. So, at this point, our 15-year-old girl has been slapped in the face, ard, est, doing police break-in, like bus drills, doing a break-in drill. She is escalating down his sick world very quickly and very scary. Like, every step is just getting more and more scary. Oh yeah, and she's been forced to fucking call him God and kiss his fucking feet. Like, bruh, where do you get all of this shit? Like, what movie are you watching? Who raised you, sir? So yeah, all of this is already like more than enough than our 15-year-old Camilla needed to go through. So she's like, look, I really need to be getting home because now, like, it's way past curfew and my mom is for sure, like, tripping by now. So he's like, oh, okay, I guess. So he's like, well, since you're late and whatever, like, I'll bring you home. No, that's okay. I'm gonna take the metro just because I can maybe, meet up with my mom at her, thing, and then, like, maybe I'll get a ride home. He's like, bitch, like, are you sure you don't want this ride home? She's like, ha ha ha, like, thank you, I love you so much, like, you're so great, but, like, yeah, I really don't need, like, that ride home because sis doesn't want the psycho to know where she lives, which is pretty smart, but she explains that it's not even for her, it's only because she wanted her mom to be protected, which is great, but also not so great because, girl, you should have just not want him to know where you live because he's a psychopath. Not only to protect your mother, but also to protect yourself because, girl, no. Like, this whole situation is just so wrong that I'm like, girl, that was not the only reason. But whatever. So, anyways, so she's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna be okay. Like, don't worry about me. It's all good. It's fine. So he's like, oh, okay. So she goes on the metro. Immediately, she is like, okay, now I think I have finally had enough of this situation. How do I get out of it? So she then, the next weekend, she doesn't show up, obviously, so he calls her at 10:01 again, and he's like, bitch, where the fuck are you? And she's like, oh, well, turns out I'm grounded because of last week when I left your house really late. My mom was not down with that, so she ended up grounding me. And he's like, I don't give a fuck, bitch, like, sneak the fuck out. And she's like, ha ha ha, no. And he's like, so you're not coming, bitch. And she's like, well, no, because like I just said, I am grounded, and, you know, it's kind of your fault to begin with. So, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with, like, this glitter thing. Just glitter everywhere. Anyways, so she's like, no, ha ha ha, I'm not coming, and he's like, you fucking bitch, fuck you. So he just hangs up on her, and, sorry, it smells like fucking marshmallows, and that is the absolute last that she ever heard from him, which, thank God, you know, because we did not want Camilla all up in that situation to begin with. Like, nobody wanted Camilla to stay with that guy either way, so we're kind of happy by now that he's like, okay, well, fuck you too, fucking predator. Like, what the fuck should Camilla care, you know? Yes, I am putting glitter all over my face because I am a 90s kid and I love glitter. So, suck it. Anyways, so thank God for us, our dear Camilla has decided to be strong and to never see that motherfucker again. Did I clinic a few months later, and thank God for her, she didn't have any STDs. Unfortunately, she did not report him to the police, which she absolutely should have, because he probably hung up on her and went right back online to find another 15-year-old to R and S and, you know, and slap around and manipulate and groom, you know. So of course it definitely seems like he was grooming her to be some kind of I don't even know what you call that, but like, bro, no girl like really wants to be like in charge. You know, like, you don't want to be that girl who has to sit at the trap house and wait for maybe the police to come by or something. Like, you know, nobody wants that. So unless you're like a Yakuza wife where it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, other than that, it's like, no, I really don't want to spend my days in a trap house and look out for the police for you. It definitely seems like he was grooming her for that kind of situation, for her to kind of be his ride or die type of thing. But it's like, bro, find a girl your fucking age and ask her if she's with it or not, because I feel like when I was 22, if I had a boyfriend who just happened to have a trap house and whatever, I feel like I'd be pretty down. I would have, like, back in the days, I would have been like, oh yeah, okay, sure, whatever, this is fine. This is fine. Yeah, I'm down. So just find a stupid girl your age, a stupid girl like me. Not anymore. In the past, I was stupid. I still am, but in different ways. But yeah, I mean, just find yourself, you know, a 22 to 24-year-old girl who's down with all of your bullshit instead of, you know, going after a 15-year-old girl and being a fucking predator and a dumbass. So that's the story of Camila and Dan. I think it's outrageous, to be honest. Like, this one actually made me cry when I was reading it, because I'm like, shit, like, I've been there and it's not fun. I feel like now our generation is kind of getting better at normalizing, like, telling your daughters that it's okay to be rude in certain situations, where if you don't feel comfortable and if a man keeps trying to push boundaries, then it's okay to say, fuck you, motherfucker, I'm not comfortable with this. And, you know, that's the end of that. If you're not happy with that, then go fuck yourself or go eat a dick or something. Because I feel like our young girls are so afraid to be, like, shy. No, not our young girls. Back in my day, girls were so shy and, like, afraid to be, like, you know, rude to, like, an older man or this or that it's like, we put ourselves in so many situations that we really didn't have to, if maybe our mothers had kind of taught us to speak up, which is definitely something that scares me, because like I said, my daughter is very shy and reserved too, but I did put her into karate, which she says is helping her with that. And also I feel like if she was in danger, she would most definitely be kicking that guy's ass. So that's it for today, guys. This was another Almost Fatal Attraction. Tell me what you think in the comments. My last video got comments, but it was like the most mysterious comments ever, and I don't know if I'm doing good or if I'm doing bad. Like, tell me, talk to me. I love you guys. Just talk to me. We're just hanging out, you know? Yeah. So that's it for today. The video's finished. You guys can definitely exit now if you guys want. My feelings will not be hurt, but if you guys just want to like chill a little bit, that's cool too. If you guys want to tell me like your scariest stories, I will most definitely put my Instagram link and Facebook, if you guys want me to tell your stories. I know I suck at storytelling, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit better with each video. Hopefully you guys feel the same, or if you guys just want to like chit chat, give me some advice, give me some tips or some comments that you guys have maybe on my videos. Maybe I'm talking too much, maybe I get distracted too much, maybe I don't know, like it could be anything. I was just so happy when my last video got 500 views, and then I was starting to gain a few followers. I got a few more likes than I usually got, so I was really like excited. And then when I saw the comments, it was like a dot and like a weird face, and I was like, girl, talk to me. If you don't like my video, tell me. Like, what am I doing wrong? Because up until now, I'm not getting any kind of feedback, so I don't even know how I'm doing. Yeah, so that's me. How are you guys doing? Like, hello. Um, just talk to me. Like I said, I'm gonna put my Instagram and Facebook. Like, just talk to me, fam. Like, if you guys want to collab on something, if you guys want to do something together, I live in the greater Montreal area. If you guys want to meet up and do something, like, just let me know what is going on with you guys. And I know it's mostly new people watching my videos because for years I had been posting and only advertising on my own social media, and even though I have 5,000 followers on Instagram, none of them care about my YouTube channel. By the way, I also make music that no one listens to, so if you're interested in that, let me know. And yes, this is the end of the video. So I'm sure most of you guys tuned out a long time ago, but for those of you who just wanted to hang out with me and chit chat, I absolutely love that. Yeah, I'm so like happy right now that we are able to do this. Like, I don't know how many of you are gonna end up seeing this, especially like till the end, but I am really, really happy for the people who actually started watching my videos recently. I love you all, and thank you for subscribing, and message me. I'm bored. I have nothing to do. Bro, I literally film like 5 to 10 videos per day and just edit them like every now and then just because I'm so bored. Like, I'm so excited to be on camera. I want people to be there with me and just chill with me and vibe with me. It's like, it's all I want. Like, I just always want to be on. I'm like an introvert and super antisocial, so like I absolutely do not do things in person, but like for me to be able to connect with people on camera is the best option like ever. So anyways, I already said like this 3 times and I'm just not even like ending the video, you see, because I want to be with you guys. Are you guys even still here at the end? Bro, if you guys made it to this part of the video, absolutely comment for me, please, because I am dying to know how much of you are actually here. Like, I'm probably going to edit this video shorter, but at the time where I'm speaking, this is like a 53-minute video. So, and I didn't really, there's not many parts that I have to cut out, so this might actually be a really long ass video. And if you guys are still here, I love you guys. Okay, I'm going for real because then you guys are gonna be like, okay, this bitch is annoying. Do you see all the glitter on my face? It looks like I'm glowing. I am now a goddess, a fairy at the very least. Like, bro, I suck at doing makeup, so don't come for me. I'm not like, this is not like a beauty channel or whatever. Me doing my makeup is just for me to keep busy, because I feel like if I'm just staring at the camera the whole time, I'll be like laughing the whole time because I'm shy. So that's just what that is. It's just keeping my hands busy. So anyways, for the 4th time, bye, have a good day, and I love you. Okay, bye, for real this time. I feel like, you know, like those, you know, like back in the day, like when you would be on the phone all night with someone, it's like, you hang up first, no, you hang up first, no, you hang up first. Except I'm doing this by myself, so really, I'm fucked in the head. Okay, bye. Okay, so here we are in the future once again, and I just wanted to include this small video because I don't think that you guys really like my camera isn't really like picking up the amount of glitter that went into this video. Like, I don't think you guys really understand the glitter situation that I have put out ourselves that I have put us in. So I'm gonna include like just here whatever like a little video that you guys can really appreciate the amount of glitter that I have bestowed onto my face today. Like, I don't think you guys get it. Like I said, sorry, I'm a 90s kid, so it is glitter, glitter, glitter. Which my kids are like, why are you so obsessed with glitter? And I'm like, girl, you're 11. Why are you obsessed with fake nails and crop tops? But whatever. That's a story for another day. Okay, bye for real. Bye, guys. A tornado flew around my room before you came. Excuse the mess it made. It usually doesn't rain in Southern California, much like Arizona. My eyes don't shed tears, but boy, they bawl when I'm thinking about you. You know, no, no, I've been thinking about you. You know, no, no, I've been thinking about you. Do you think about me still? Apparently, yes. Jeez.